Lesson 3, Acknowledgement. Hello everyone, welcome to the third lesson where we continue discussing how to make good use of emotions. In the last class, we talked about a very important fundamental skill, deep breathing. Deep breathing not only helps with emotions, but I highly encourage everyone to make it a daily habit. You will find that if you practice consistently, after 1 or 2 months, some chronic illnesses may unexpectedly improve, or at least the pain will be greatly reduced. Today we are discussing a very specific technique, a method on how to face emotions and make good use of them, which is to acknowledge our emotions. Acknowledging emotions is very important. What does acknowledgement mean? It means being completely 100% honest with yourself, allowing emotions to exist without avoidance, resistance, concealment, attack, or criticism. Because behind all emotions are unmet desires, unmet needs, unmet expectations, and some unfulfilled beliefs. So, behind emotions are the most important qualities of our lives. By acknowledging emotions, we can rebuild ourselves, discover ourselves, reconstruct ourselves, and regain our life's power and direction. The process of acknowledging emotions is not simple, especially for those who have never tried to do this before. Initially, acknowledgement is very uncomfortable, such as admitting to having guilt, helplessness, hypocrisy, grievance, arrogance, etc. These acknowledgements may make people feel uneasy. But it seems to be a special design by heaven. The more we acknowledge it, the more our ability to coexist, embrace, and make good use of emotions will continuously improve. Therefore, acknowledging and accepting emotions is not a full stop, but a present continuous process. It is something that needs to be done every day. There will never be a day when you achieve perfection and have no emotions anymore. We are not pursuing perfection but rather seeking to make good use of emotions when they arise, cherish them, and benefit from them, turning defeat into victory. Making good use of every emotion can actually make us healthier people, with increasingly stronger inner strength. There are a few tips to learn how to acknowledge emotions. First, speak out loud, don't just think in your mind. Try to spend a few minutes each day in quality, quiet, self-reflective time. Sit relaxed in a comfortable environment, whether cross-legged or sitting up straight, as long as you feel comfortable. Of course, try to sit up straight as much as possible, remembering what we talked about in the last class, that straightening the spine is beneficial for physical and mental health and makes it easier to face emotions. When acknowledging emotions, speak slowly and repetitively. For example, I acknowledge that I am a bit nervous now, I am a bit worried now. Saying it a second time will be much easier because you have accepted it, and it no longer attacks you, harms you, or controls you. You begin to have inner freedom, inner peace, and establish healthy boundaries with external people and things, no longer clinging tightly to external things. Usually, because of ego, we want to control our parents, partners, friends, careers, children, teams, bosses, subordinates, etc., all because of an inner sense of lack, low self-esteem, low self-image, and fear of low self-worth. How do we deal with these fears? These are all created by us. The greatest good news in life is that all the insecurities in life are created by us. Our minds create them, so deep breathing is to calm the mind. The definition of meditation is to calm the mind. When I continuously meditate, start acknowledging emotions, no longer avoiding, no longer concealing, no longer attacking, no longer denying, but living with them, I begin to gain autonomy over life, becoming the master of emotions. Gradually discovering the inner strength becomes stronger and stronger because the power of the mind is as vast as the universe. The mind is infinitely large. When dreaming, your mind can create anything. Since the power of the mind is infinite, we need to make good use of the power of the mind through deep breathing, acknowledgement, maintaining awareness, and making new choices without easily projecting. When acknowledging, there is one crucial tip. Do not say, I acknowledge that I am very angry, I acknowledge that I am full of guilt, I acknowledge that I am a helpless person. This is very dangerous because if you acknowledge, I am a helpless person, it is equivalent to helplessness. Acknowledging, I am very inferior, is equivalent to inferiority. Thus, you will always be helpless, inferior, angry, sentencing yourself to a life sentence. So when acknowledging, try using a simple expression: I acknowledge I have a part that is helpless, I acknowledge I have a part that is domineering, I acknowledge I have a part that is fearful. This is just one very small part of the many thousands of parts of life. While doing this, give yourself an awareness that not only do I have thousands of parts, but all these parts are shared by the 7 billion people on Earth. Do your parents have fears? Do they have helplessness? Do they have worries? Do they have guilt? Do they have anger? They certainly do. What about their parents? What about their ancestors? The ancestors of their ancestors? So when we find ourselves having certain emotions, remind yourself that these are emotions shared by all 7 billion people. Throughout human history, everyone has had the emotions of everyone else, at least a seed of them. Each person's combination and proportion are different. Some primarily feel grievance, some primarily feel anger, some primarily feel helplessness, guilt, or fear, and everyone has them. By connecting with our inner emotions and then connecting with the unity of all beings, the emotions of all humanity, we can unleash the power of love. Empathy, compassion, and the energy of love will be activated. Emotions themselves are not the problem, avoidance is. The more we face them, the more we can see through them, transcend them, and instead use emotions to gain great strength. Through fear, helplessness, and grievance, I see that I have many attachments, many expectations. In the past, I demanded perfection from myself and then projected emotions onto my partner and children, saying many unhappy words. So, in this lesson, we are sharing about acknowledgement. The more we acknowledge, the more familiar we become with our emotions. The first time you acknowledge, you might admit you have fear, and saying it out loud might make you feel uneasy and resistant. But when you relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, and say it slowly while breathing deeply, within a minute or two, by the third or seventh time you say, I acknowledge I have a part that is fearful, you begin to make friends with fear and start to make good use of it. So next time you have emotions, it's simple: let yourself be still, breathe deeply, distance yourself from external people and things, pay attention to it, and let yourself be still. Start using the words, I acknowledge. If the environment allows, speak it out loud, say it slowly. There are 3 steps when speaking. First, talk to yourself more often, get used to talking to yourself, and in quiet times, say out loud slowly, I acknowledge I've been more angry recently, I've had some anxiety recently, say it slowly. When you start to feel familiar, comfortable, and natural, you can take the second step and share with your most trusted friend, maybe your partner. I found out that on the surface I seem so confident, but inside there is a lot of insecurity, behind the fear there is criticism, guilt. Say it slowly, and the whole process is a journey of self-acceptance, self-healing, and self-completion. Even some great leaders can share openly with others, emphasize, support, and contribute to more lives. So, speak out, because the vibrational frequency of the voice itself has a healing effect. The 3 steps: first, talk to yourself until you are very familiar. Familiarity lies in acceptance, really able to fully embrace this part of the emotion, then you can calmly talk to your most trusted and cherished friends. The third part can be to express openly in appropriate occasions, supporting others and inspiring others. When you start talking to yourself, you can add an idea, which is to see yourself from God's perspective. Because it's too easy to see with your own eyes, because we have pride and ego, wanting to see ourselves as right, wanting to avoid our mistakes and faults. On the contrary, see yourself with a divine perspective. The Bible says that after God created the heavens and the earth, He saw everything as good, and God made man in His image, so we all have a divine part. Buddhist scriptures say that all beings have Buddha nature, and everyone can become a Buddha. Seeing yourself with a divine perspective is very important. Because many times, spiritual practice, which has been very popular in Hong Kong in recent years, involves a lot of spiritual terminology, and at the same time, I believe true practice must be implemented in the most human aspects of life. spirituality and humanity need to be combined. So when I contact my emotions, not only do I not fight with them, but I look at them with a divine perspective. These emotions help me grow, help me learn humility, learn to surrender, learn to let go. What does surrender mean? Let me share in these last 2 minutes. Acknowledgement is the core of surrender. It's the whole surrender to the universe, to the heavens and the earth, trusting that the will of heaven is not love. The first step is to acknowledge your shortcomings, acknowledge that you have certain emotions, certain greed. And when you see it, don't attack it. This is discernment, this is wisdom. So when speaking, be calm, let yourself relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, put your hands up and down, with the greatest love for yourself, see with God's perspective. Seeing that I am who I am today because of the good intentions of heaven, there are lessons worth learning in my life. I deserve to experience unconditional love, which is the most precious part of life. No longer expect unconditional love from your partner or parents. No one can give you love, they can only share. Even if they want to give it to you, accepting it or not is your choice. So when I acknowledge, I start learning to accept myself, love myself, let myself experience, create, and generate this unconditional love. This acknowledgement is actually a positive wisdom of life. So when we talk about surrender, many people misunderstand it as being passive, doing nothing, letting go, being detached, or watching from the sidelines. Quite the opposite, surrender is the most active action. It is an acceptance of the present in mindset, an acceptance of the reality of life in mindset, an acceptance of this moment in mindset. I have no ability to change anyone, I have no ability, no need, no responsibility to change the external world. I am not criticizing the external world, while letting myself humbly surrender, with this suchness heart, then I can spread love. First, create, experience, and feel this self-love yourself, then share this love with others, share it with more people, let every moment of interaction carry this self-love, and then turn this self-love into a flow and sharing of love energy between people. So, the inner surrender, the external behavior will be very active, starting with acknowledgement. Time is almost up. Finally, I want everyone at this moment to relax, sit up straight, close your eyes, and try to say slowly with the words, I acknowledge. I acknowledge that I treat my children this way, I treat my partner this way, actually because of what inside. Let yourself say it step by step. Remember what I said in the first lesson, emotions are like a skyscraper, a 1,000-story skyscraper. When acknowledging, you can say layer by layer, I acknowledge that beneath my anger may be fear, beneath fear may be grievance, beneath grievance may be guilt. There is no standard answer, let yourself do it slowly. When we do this, there will truly be self-love, inner peace will become more natural, more habitual, more fluent. I hope this episode on acknowledgement is valuable to everyone. In the next lesson, we will share another very important method. Let's learn to make good use of emotions together. Thank you, sincerely thank you all.